What's going on? What's going on? Come on in, hit that like button, hit that like button, hit that like button. Let me know where you're checking in from. Let me know where you're checking in from. Tuesday night, the Mentors Podcast. Me, Mark the Mentor. We're going to be talking about the future of final mile, last mile. All right. This is something that I've gotten a request to talk about from multiple people, multiple subscribers for a very long time, at least the past 5 or 6 months. And I've always put it off. Um, there's reasons why I've always put it off. I just feel like, like I always say, I build content and I talk around, about current things that are going on. And if not current things that can kind of help people, um, things that can help people in current situations. So current economic events, giving strategy to maneuver around things that are coming up in the economy or work going on in the economy, or focus on things that are coming up in the economy that may affect one's business. So I just felt that a lot of the stuff that I'm going to discuss tonight was just maybe over people's heads, or people have other things that are more important in their business right now that they need to focus on more so than what's coming in the future. What's coming in the future is important because ultimately it can affect uh, your business in the long term. And I know I always talk about research and development, and I always talk about how a lot of companies, in the past, they got stuck in their ways, and just got kind of stuck in their ways, and they let companies come in and utilize technology and kind of put them out of business. And that's going to happen again. It's going to always happen. So you kind of want to stay ahead of the curve, do your research and development, and know what's coming up in the industry that you're in, so that when it does come up, you're prepared for it. Whether you need to pivot or transition, listen, nothing lasts forever. It doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that tells you it does, they're crazy. If you can just look at the last 10 years of business in the trucking industry as far as like final mile, and see how much it's evolved. Look, just with commerce, period. Look what e-commerce has done in the last 20 years. Look how many businesses that were here, 20 years ago that aren't here anymore. And the result to why these companies aren't here, a lot of it is due to technology. All right. So we're going to talk about some of these things tonight, some of these innovations. We're going to talk about Amazon. We're going to talk about Walmart. And this may be boring to some people, and I know it's going to be boring to a lot of people, and a lot of people may not want to hear this, but at the end of the day, you have to be prepared. If this is something that you want to do long term, you got to be prepared for it. I've seen how um, innovation and technology and just time, in general, has changed since I've been in the industry since 2010. So it's going to continue to evolve, and companies are going to continue to cut costs. Like I don't think a lot of people really, take the time because they're so caught up in the day to day of getting into the industry and actually focusing on their business to do the actual research of the industry as a whole to understand how it works. Like the final mile process, the last mile process of the supply chain process, the logistics process, is the most expensive. In some cases, can count to 50 or more than 50% of the total cost of the whole logistics process to get that item into your hands. The last phase of it is the most expensive, and a lot of companies are really working towards reducing those costs, and ultimately over time it's going to affect people's business. So you kind of want to be prepared for it, be aware of it, and just know it's coming. Some of these things are going to come into fruition. Some of these things may not come into fruition. Some of these things may come into fruition sooner than later. Some of these things may come into fruition later than sooner. But these are things that people need to be aware of. It's like I always use that Borders bookstore and Barnes and Nobles example of how those old guys with the old guys with the gray hair and the silver white hair that had just been sitting on those board of directors for years and years and years, and they thought they had it made in the shade until Amazon came and changed the landscape of that, and now these companies are here, and all those, general merchandise stores that Walmart came and put out of business. I always name your Montgomery Wards, your Ventures, your Zayres, your Ames, Goldblatts. The list goes on and on and on and on. So you got to kind of stay ahead of the curve. All right, so hit the like button as you come in. Hit the like button. Let me know where you're checking in from. We got New York in the building. What's that? Pensacola, Florida in the building. Is the walk. Shout out to all my mentor gang members, everybody that's a part of the mentor membership, my mentor gang members. Shout out to y'all. What else we got? We got VA Brian Watkins. Shout out to everybody that's watching on YouTube. Shout out to the people that's watching on Facebook. We got Harvey, Mario, D Berry. You and Harvey, is that Harvey World? So you from here? Is there another Harvey in another state? Are you from Harvey, Illinois, right outside Chicago? If so, then we're gonna consider you a Chicagoan. So we got a hometown person in the building. Pippi, my what do you call the person that holds order in the chat? The help me out, Pippi. What's that called? You hold an order. In the chat. The help me out. What's that called? You got the wrench by you. I gave you a wrench. So what is that called? The moderator. There you go. Moderator. So shout out to Pippi, my first moderator. All right, Mario, that's Harvey World. I'm actually gonna be in Harvey tomorrow morning. Actually, someone just booked my company last minute for a job, and I'm actually gonna and it's a job that's one man, so I'm gonna actually take one of these trucks that I got sitting. I'm gonna jump and I'm gonna do that job myself. I actually may document that job. And because that job came off of Thumbtack, I was actually going to turn it away, but he said, if you got one guy can do it. So I'm going to actually do that with myself. And I'm actually going to probably document that job to show you guys how you can get easy jobs and tax people on Thumbtack, because I see some people have a hard time booking jobs on Thumbtack, and it's a science to booking jobs on Thumbtack. Your price point has to be right. It's very competitive now. All right. When I first signed my company up for Thumbtacks years ago, it was less competitive. I see now that it's more competitive, and it just goes to what I talk about all the time, as far as people being in business for themselves. So you got people on there that are cheap, but if you're a person if you're coming in the game, then your rates got to be really top notch. See, I don't play with my rates on a lot of these lead service providers, because I got hundreds of reviews because I've been on there. So you're gonna pay top dollar. So it's either you want a high quality company that's been doing this for years and you're gonna pay for what you get, or you can go with one of the new guys that are just getting into the game and deal with the learning curve of messing your stuff up. So but I'm gonna show people how to maximize that Thumbtack load board. That's what, not load board, that Thumbtack lead generating service, so that you're not just paying for leads and not turn those leads into actual sales of your service. All right, so I'm gonna actually focus on that coming up. Harvey in the building, Pippi in the building. Appreciate you. I gotta send you a gift card or something for Christmas. Great Polo STL in the building. Miss Red Nose Pit, another mentor gang member in the building. Shout out to the mentor gang members for checking in tonight. Also, what I want to start doing is, it's something that I don't do. I want to start highlighting. I appreciate. I always talk about it, but I never highlight people, because I just feel like, what conversations people reach out to me and thank me and stuff for, the information I'm giving and how it helps them. It makes me feel good, but I want to start highlighting that stuff too, just to let people know it's real, and people actually do reach out, and people are grateful, and and thankful and appreciate the content. So I'm going to start highlighting some people, and I'm always going to ask if it's okay if I share this conversation. I'm not just going to put people's personal conversations that they message me up, because I respect people's privacy. So I'm gonna always ask. So what I want to do now is I want to highlight some people that have reached out to me uh, today. Actually, I get highlights every day. So let's do that real quick, and then we're gonna get into this. Um, I'm gonna talk about some news too, real quick. This first person hit me up. I think that was today. Let me see here. I'm gonna pull this up here. And let's see where it's at. Let me get rid of this right here. I blocked them out. I can't really see because the computer screen is kind of a distance. He's talking about an article that was came out yesterday. And I'm gonna actually show the article. I'm not gonna go over and break the article down, but I'm gonna let you guys read it. He says he sent it to me, but I already read it. He said this post article coincides with what you've been saying for months, that as the transportation industry gets hammered with a myriad of challenges, contracts, labor force, technology, automation, supply chain issues, manufacturing of vehicles, economic downturn, credit debt, lack of liquidity, weakening dollar, that shippers will exercise their strengths to squeeze down on carriers and lock in more contractual rates for the projected changes ahead, but utilizing and creating on-demand platform opportunities to compete in an ever-changing environment of today's needs and demands of consumer buying. I said, you're one of my subscribers who actually gets it. And I got a bunch of subscribers that actually get it. But, I get challenged from here, time to time. But, clearly he says, everything that I've been saying has been falling into place. A lot of people message me and tell me, man, it's scary. Somebody actually said it's scary how everything you've been talking about for months, I've watched it all fall into place. But let me go on. I was contemplating speaking on this article, but I may center it on my live around it, which I'm not going to center the live around it. I'm going to actually show you guys the articles, and you guys can go read it. I blocked his name out. The earlier part of this chat, he was texting me on Instagram in a DM. He was talking about how when he first was looking into getting the box truck, he bought a lot of the, I guess, so-called fake guru courses. And he was like, thank God, after continuous digging, I was led to your channel. After our consultation, I learned that I hadn't done enough research and I wasn't ready. You saved me a bag. The reason we all tap in weekly and sometimes daily now, we cannot afford to do your own research and just listen to this fly-by-night carriers with no history and lessons in the industry. I guess he's talking about the new people that he might have bought courses or mentorship or whatever from, that, just started their trucking journey within the past year or two. I considered the van option early on as a backup, and that thinking was confirmed when you started to speak in depth about the opportunities that exist within that space and as a model to scale one's business when viable. In short, appreciate the game and much respect. And then, like I said, I ask always, can I share this conversation? I'll block your name out. So that was one, and then I got another one. I'm gonna show you guys. Before I do that, hold on, let me read this, and then I'll show you the article. I got somebody else. This one's a little bit vulgar. Boy, I've been effing roadie, dispatch, go share, and bungee up, bro. Easy effing money. You about to make me start giving out the sauce on YouTube and Curry Driver. I responded, that's good. Glad it's working out. YouTube is wide open. Go for it. So, I appreciate everyone that sends me these testimonials. I get them every single day. So I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna start highlighting more testimonials on my live as I go on. But the article he's talking about, and it's in a few different places. I'm gonna actually show it to you guys right now. Let me just share my screen real quick. Give me one moment here. Let me pull this up. I actually got it ready. I just got to swap it over here. All right. Share. All right. So this is the article he's talking about. In the parcel industry, 2023 looks like revenge of the shipper. All right. So that first testimonial is just going to what I've been talking about. And I've been talking about 2023 for the past month. I think you guys kind of get it now, what I've been saying. Um, the shipper is getting the leverage back again. We can, I'll go through a little bit of the article with you guys. It's been a difficult 3 years for parcel shippers. Base rates and the accessorial charges have spiked to record levels. They've been told in blunt and public terms to pay up or pound sand. Many saw their volumes capped during the past two peak seasons. They've lost their money back guarantee on everything but the parcel carrier's most expensive services. It's doubtful that guarantees will ever be restored across the board. But the worm appears to be turning as 2023 nears. Shippers are expected to recapture the leverage that they held for years prior to the pandemic. With everything being negotiable, shippers will push hard to beat back the record general rate increases that take effect over the next few weeks. All right, you guys are welcome to read the rest of this article for yourself. I'm not going to break that down because that's not what I'm talking about tonight. But it goes into what I've been talking about. The shippers been getting the heck beat out of them for the past couple of years. Those rates that a lot of you guys, made a lot of money off of. Like I always say, those rates were just fantasy land. That wasn't normal. You know what I'm saying? So, and when I be talking this stuff, guys, don't take it. Some people get mad, and like even though I get an overabundance of love, every now and then I get uh a person who just says something that just doesn't make sense. Like it's not like I'm sitting up here saying fictitious things and making things up. I think I'm validated now. I made a very risky call about that peak season thing. And like I always say, a lot of people wanted to see me wrong. But I think that plus a lot of other forecasts that I've been making over the months, have validated me as a reliable source uh, when it comes to uh, speaking uh, about this box trucking, cargo van trucking. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. So that's why I continue to come on here to help people out because I see that a lot of people do appreciate what I'm doing. All right. Another quick thing. I know I talked about Rody and I showed you those Fanatic numbers and how Rody pays really really well on not Rody, how Fanatics pays really really well on the Rody app. Big day in news for Rody today. Not Rody. Big news today for Fanatics. All right. So Fanatics, they just hit another. They just got another 700 million investment, funding investment. All right. So now their valuation is at $31 billion. So they're spending money, and this kind of makes sense on why on Rody their deliveries are, like I mean, I showed it like some of the delivery routes for Fanatics last week on Rody, but they have investors just pouring money and investment to Fanatics. Michael Rubin owns Fanatics. I think LeBron James owns a small piece of it, and so does Kevin Durant. They purchased Mitchell and Ness. So they have some big people behind them. The popularity is there. And I believe that's probably why, when companies are first starting out, they throw money around like it's crazy. And then when they start trying to go public to show profit, that's when they start tightening up. So the money that Fanatics is throwing around right now to get these deliveries out on Rody is because they're trying to gain the consumer. They're promising this quick turnaround. And we're going to talk about quick turnaround tonight. And they're doing whatever it takes. And I kept these rates in here. I'm glad I kept them in here because if you look at this, $500 to deliver T-shirts in a 75-mile radius, a 3-hour run, like that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous money. Ridiculous money. They actually had a route I mentioned it. I couldn't screenshot it and quick because as soon as it came up, I went to screenshot it to show you guys. It was $1,000 and something for like 30 deliveries for like 80 miles. And this is something you can do in your vehicle, your personal vehicle. So Fanatics is throwing money around because they have investors that are pouring capital into this company. You know, they got LeBron James, they got Kevin Durant, they got Michael Rubin, who's already a billionaire before he started. You know, Fanatics he's one of the co-owners of the Philadelphia 76ers. So he has connections. So, you know, like I said, Thumbtack was like that at a point too. You know, Thumbtack is trying to go public now. So they're tightening up. They're not as loose as they used to be. So I'm telling you guys this for a reason. Take advantage of the situation while the money is good. When companies are trying to win consumers over and they just got series funding just being fed into them, just millions and millions and billions of dollars just being fed, they're going to spend it. And they don't care how they spend it because they know they're operating at a loss because they're operating to build the company. But the moment they decide that they got to go public, you're going to see them getting tight. Every company does it. Every company has the same pattern. So take advantage of the getting while the getting is good. So I'm telling you what it is. So we're going to see who all take advantage. I got some people obviously take advantage of it because they messaging me about how they effing it up. All right. So that's the deal with Rody and Fanatics. All right. So let's get into this topic. We're going to be talking about the future of last mile tonight. We're going to talk about a few things in last mile. Some of these things I'm sure you guys don't know about. And like I said, the final mile, the last mile delivery process from the big bulk, you know, your furniture and your appliance delivery down to the smaller parcel, which is comparable to like what you get with like the Amazon DSP, the small packages like the Amazon DSP delivers, the post office to deliver, and there's a bunch of other companies that deliver your small e-commerce things that you order online, FedEx, UPS, whatever. They're trying to aggressively reduce that cost because, like I said, it accounts for about 50% of the whole supply chain process. Final mile delivery is very, 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 very expensive. All right. So come on, guys, hit that like button, Come on in. I'm gonna pull this up and we are going to get started. Hit that like button. Let me know where you're checking in from. So this is for a company that does research and development. And we're just going to break this down. I didn't put it into my own PowerPoint. We're going to actually break it down on their end because they already have it up and it's perfect. So I didn't have to do too much to it. Let's get into it right now. All right. So CB Insights is the company that did this. All right. The future of last mile delivery, how technology is tackling the complexity and cost of fulfillment. All right. We'll break this down. All right. So they're diving into the future of final mile. They've actually got some patents of some things that Walmart is working on. They have some patents of some things that Amazon is working on. And I knew about a lot of this stuff, or some of this stuff, I should say. Some of this stuff I didn't. All right. Some of this stuff is shocking and surprising, and it really lets me know that not only are they trying to really reduce the final mile cost because it's very expensive, but a lot of this stuff is just going to put people completely out of work. All right. So let's get into it. We dive into the evolution of last mile delivery and what solutions will look like in 2030 from an autonomous delivery system to digital twins. The global e-commerce logistics market is slated to surpass $3 trillion by 2028, according to the Acumen Research and Consulting. As delivery costs rise, inflation worsens, and a global recession looms, companies helping to reduce the cost of fulfillment and delivery are gaining traction. The future of last mile delivery will be built on key technologies. All right, autonomous delivery systems. All right, which leverage a combination of self-driving cars, sidewalk robots, drones to minimize last mile efficiency. We see some of this already, right? En-route manufacturing. Now, we're going to go into this later into this presentation. Now, this right here, something I didn't know about. I had to research it for this presentation. This is groundbreaking technology. Not only is this going to reduce costs on the final mile side, it's going to speed up the fulfillment and the last mile process, and it's going to put physical people out of work last mile and in the warehouse. All right, robotic stores on wheels. Something else that makes sense. I didn't know it existed, but it's a simple idea. I'm like, damn, why didn't I think about this? Delivery lockers and storage systems, something that's already in place. Amazon has really built out delivery locker and storage systems all across the country. This drastically reduced final mile costs. We're going to get into why. Digital twins. Digital twins is something that I'm going to talk about later on. It's something that I think it's going to cost a lot of money, and this may be one of the things that may not come into fruition, but we're going to talk about it. I'm going to break it down and let you guys know what it is. All right, so the future of last mile. All right, en-route manufacturing, digital twins, delivery lockers and systems, robotic stores on wheels, autonomous delivery systems. All right, what's the stakes? Why does it matter? The pandemic gave way to unprecedented surge in online shopping and e-commerce retail categories, in addition to a variety of new fulfillment methods to cater to consumer preferences and needs. Even though stores have reopened and life has largely returned to normal, consumers continue to shop online more than they did before the pandemic. The shift in consumer behavior, guys, I always talk about the shift in consumer behavior. All right, coupled with demands for faster, cheaper delivery options. You always hear me talk about that. Has placed substantial pressure on retailers' bottom line. The last mile compromises for more than 40% of total supply chain costs, according to Capgemini Research Institute. Nancy Corium, founder and CEO of last mile delivery startup Metro Speedy, also pointed out that it accounts for over 50% of total shipping costs. With e-commerce retailers like Amazon, Walmart, and Alibaba continue to raise the bar for fast delivery and upstart delivering food and convenience items within 15 minutes of an order being placed, competition has become fierce. I always talk about customers are going to decide what retailer they're going to purchase from based on turnaround time. This is what's making the competition fierce. People want to get the stuff yesterday, not tomorrow, not 2 days, not next day, same day now. Especially for smaller retailers and brands that lack the fulfillment capabilities of the larger players. Speed. This is what I've been talking about. Speed is becoming a crucial competitive advantage in the e-commerce space. More than 68% of online shoppers surveyed by BizRate Insights cited shorter delivery windows as the determining factor for placing an online order. I've been telling y'all this for the past couple months. I said a person's decision on who they're going to buy with is who can turn it around the quickest. To improve speed at an affordable rate, retailers and brands are increasingly looking into improve delivery economics. All right, we're not going to get into the why now. We're not going to get into who needs to pay attention. We all need to pay attention, especially if you're in this business. I don't care if you're in middle mile. I don't care if you're in final mile. If you're in the logistics business as an owner operator, you really need to pay attention. Why? Because we lack the resources, we lack the capital. All right, whatever is going to get left over, all right, is always going to go to the big boys. All right, so this is why independent owner operators need to do your own R&D. You need to do your own research and development so you know what's going on. All right, so everybody needs to pay attention. All right, so we're not going to get into that. Let's start breaking into these autonomous delivery systems. All right. All right, so let's talk about autonomous delivery systems, which is going to be your UAV, your robots, your drones, things of that nature. Autonomous delivery systems rely on a combination of autonomous vehicles, sidewalk robots, which we already see in some markets, delivery drones, which we see being tested in some markets, being pulled back out of some markets. All right, and autonomous delivery vans. We see autonomous delivery vans in some markets to automate the last mile delivery. Integrating different autonomous vehicles into one system helps address limitations associated with each individual vehicle. For example, autonomous delivery vans can't bring a package up to a consumer's door, but they could be paired with a sidewalk robot or drone capable of doing so. All right, so there's some companies, Walmart, I think it's either Walmart and Amazon, or both are working on a patent that is going to run two vehicles simultaneously, so that if one vehicle, the delivery van can't, so the delivery van can't, like it's saying right here, can't bring the package up onto the sidewalk. So they're going to have an actual van that can then have a drone come from out of the van with the package, go and drop the thing off or whatever it is on the porch, and then resend back to the van and go back into the van, and the hatch will close, and then it'll go to the next drop. But we're going to get into that. I actually, this survey company has actual patent images of these stuff that the Walmart and Amazon are trying to get patents on. We're going to get into that. First movers, Amazon and Walmart have been actively filing patents for autonomous delivery systems that rely on multiple vehicle types to fulfill an order. Amazon's concept involves sending out autonomous delivery vans that can deploy and control drones to drop off individual orders. Walmart's patent couples sidewalk robots with delivery drones that can handle potential obstacles on the ground, such as parked cars or construction. All right, so here is a graph. All right, and basically, this is a part of the patent or of what they're working on. So, for example, a ground vehicle AGV travels along predetermined delivery route to waypoint. Is there an obstacle blocking the vehicle? If no, the vehicle continues traveling along the delivery route. If yes, the delivery vehicle does it have enough battery power? All right. If no, then a drone, which is a UAV, retrieves the merchandise item and flies to the delivery location. All right. So if there's an obstacle for the robot, let's say, and it can't continue, then a drone is going to come meet that delivery robot, retrieve those items or retrieve that item, and then continue along that route. Now, if the thing does have enough battery, then it'll go, does the obstacle move within a given amount of time? I actually did a video a few months ago about a robot that was making a delivery, and there was a bunch of people, and it was kind of surveying the robot. I guess the AI was kind of surveying how it could go around, and it actually went through a crime scene. So the technology gives the technology built in the robot gives it time to see if whatever obstacle is blocking it is going to move. All right. So does the obstacle move within a given amount of time? If yes, then the robot waits for the obstacle to pass, and then it continues on the delivery route. If no, then is there an alternative delivery route for the AGV? If yes, then it'll proceed to the alternative route. If no, the AGV will the AGV arrive by the scheduled delivery time, right? Timing is very important with a lot of these retailers. All right. If yes, then the AGV will continue on the route. If no, then they're going to send a drone to retrieve that item to get that there on time. All right. So two vehicles or two whatever robots, vehicles, autonomous ground vehicle, and a UAV, which is a drone. So they're willing to put two autonomous things out to get this stuff done, but there's no person in play at all. So there will be no person. All right, no person. This is getting rid of your delivery van. This is getting rid of your final mile people that are delivering in cars. It's getting rid of all of that, and by doing that, it's drastically reducing costs, because remember, final mile, last mile delivery accounts for about 50% of the whole total supply chain process. All right. Implications. Once autonomy delivery reaches commercialization, sidewalk robots and drone delivery solutions should reduce the amount of human labor involved in the delivery process. Human involvement would likely be limited to teleoperation, which would allow one person to monitor and control multiple vehicles at once. Purpose-built autonomous ground vehicles and drone delivery solutions tend to be fully electric and can therefore serve as more sustainable transportation options than traditional gas-powered delivery vans and trucks. Integrating drones into the delivery system would speed up delivery times at a more affordable rate than ground-based alternatives. Regulatory challenges persist. Remember, I talked about the regulations, was it last week or the week before last? You got drones flying in the air. There's going to have to be some type of FAA regulation. We can't have drones flying in the air and crashing into each other. The same way a plane can crash into each other. That's why you have air traffic controllers, and it's regulated by the FAA. You're going to have some type of regulation and air traffic control with drones, because if Amazon gets allowed it, then that means UPS is going to get allowed, FedEx is going to get allowed, and then you're going to have other startup companies that are going to be providing services to other retailers as well. So you're gonna have a bunch of UAVs in the air, and it's gonna have to be regulated. It's gonna have to be controlled so that these things aren't crashing into each other, and then debris is falling on your head, falling on your cars, falling on your homes, and obviously for liability purposes. All right, regulatory challenges persist for both ground delivery and drones. The complex regulatory environment is making it challenging to launch the scale service. I spoke on that last week. Companies that can win regulatory approval will likely have a competitive advantage over peers. If anybody does win, and this goes back to competitive edge. Remember, we talked about competitive edge on Sunday. This would be huge competitive edge. We know the companies that if any companies were granted regulatory preference, it's going to be Amazon, it's going to be UPS, it's going to be FedEx, it's going to be Walmart. Why? Because these companies have deep pockets, and it's going to give them the competitive advantage over a startup. Let's say Mark the Mentor wants to start up a drone third-party delivery company. The same way I started up a trucking company in 2010, I started up a drone delivery company. I get the Gap to sign up with me, and I get, let's say, Fanatics to sign up with me, and I get, I don't know, let's say Lids or Dick's Sporting Goods, whoever. I get 3 big major contracts, and or I'm building this company to get contracts, but I don't have the deep pockets to get the regulatory clearance like these guys. So I'm investing money, but I don't have the money to get the clearance. All right. So I'm going after the third party retailers, while these companies are the retailers themselves. So they have the deep pockets. That would give them the competitive edge over me if I was building up an independent drone delivery company when I was going after like retailers to sign on with my company. All right, en route manufacturing brings fulfillment closer to the end customer. And this, if this comes into fruition, this is groundbreaking. I never knew this existed. I didn't know that this was something that could be a thing, but this right here is on a whole nother level. Let's get into it. The concept of en route manufacturing pushes autonomous delivery one step further by bringing production inside the vehicle. What is en route manufacturing? En route manufacturing solutions allow goods to be produced on the way to the destination, which would enable faster fulfillment as well as more customization. The technology would involve dispersed unmanned mobile fulfillment centers or delivery vehicles that can 3D print or manufacture items en route. Some cases could involve transferring items between delivery vehicles at different stages of the supply chain. Example, larger trucks for long haul routes, smaller delivery robots for last mile. So this is a patent. This is an Amazon patent that's in the work. I don't think it's been approved yet. An illustration included in an Amazon patent application shows how items can be transferred between different autonomous delivery vehicles. All right. So I guess I don't know but the patent is they got delivery vehicles, and obviously en route is en route manufacturing. So it reduces. So you got a 3D printer. Let's break it down like this. You got a 3D printer. And let's say I got this, I don't know, this hard drive, you know what I'm saying? You got a 3D printer, they got the materials to just mass produce these hard drives in a vehicle. And as the vehicle is moving, they're mass producing these hard drives, right? And they don't have to go to a warehouse. They're mass producing them in the vehicle. And as they're mass producing them, they're doing deliveries as well. So they're simultaneously producing, fulfilling, and delivering all within the same vehicle. And if they need help from another vehicle can pull up, and then they can transfer, I guess, all items that have already been manufactured in that vehicle into another autonomous vehicle, and then that autonomous vehicle would focus completely on final mile delivery. All right, let's get further into it. I'm sorry. Amazon's patent activity suggests the company is working on a variety of en route manufacturing solutions. It has outlined visions for both airborne fulfillment centers, which are AFCs, airborne fulfillment centers, and mobile fulfillment centers. Now, we're talking about the mobile fulfillment centers. I haven't found anything on airborne fulfillment centers, but I guess just off the name, you know what they're talking about. One patent involves delivery robots that manufacture or produce items using stock materials as well as other materials that can be retrieved from multiple locations along the route. So the vehicle is actually retrieving the materials to 3D print in the vehicle along the route. So everything it needs to source is being done within that vehicle within a route. All right. Once the items once the item is made, last mile robots could open doors to homes with wireless codes to deliver goods. If you live in an apartment or a condo, Amazon already has the technology. I think they call it I don't know, one access or one button access. I read about it, one push access, where I think the DSP guys, when they go to a large building, they just hit the button because the building has already signed up with Amazon to give that company access, and you just push the button within the app and then the door buzz open. All right. Implications: though an en route manufacturing remains incredibly early stage, largely limited to patents and R&D, research and development. I always tell you guys about research and development. The solution could help retailers bring fulfillment closer to the end consumer by producing goods while in transit. En route manufacturing solutions enable on the go customization, which could speed up the creation, personalized items across softline and general merchandise categories. Roadblocks to widespread adoption will likely be the high cost of designing custom vehicles that are capable of manufacturing products in transit, in addition to the loss of economies of scale when distributing production away from a central facility. All right. So before we get into the next one, I know this is, like they said, is going to cost a lot of money, but over time they're going to save millions and billions of dollars. All right, if they can mass produce, source materials all within the route, source the materials within the route, mass produce via 3D printing goods within the route, and do the delivery all within the same route, and if needed, another vehicle can pull up and they can transfer things from one vehicle to the next. I think I think that's groundbreaking technology. All right, let's get into the robotic stores on wheels, which is a pretty simple idea. It's not something I thought of, but it makes sense. Companies are also exploring ways to bring the shopping experience straight to the consumer's door with mobile stores and convenience shops. What are robotic stores on wheels? What robotic stores on wheels allow consumers to hail a delivery vehicle to their door and choose their items directly from the vehicle. So it's basically a store on wheels. Imagine Amazon Fresh on wheels. So instead of going to the store, instead of going on an app, putting stuff in a cart, waiting to get that delivery, whether it's same day or next day, you can just go to the app and hail a delivery vehicle. The vehicle will pull up to your home, and then you can just go to the vehicle and do all your grocery shopping from the vehicle and go back in your home. All right. When the vehicle arrives, customers can open the door using a mobile app and choose their items. These mobile robotic stores are fully automated, featuring a checkout-free shopping system, leveraging radio frequency identification or a computer vision software. It's just like going into the Amazon Fresh store. You pick something up, it's going to go into your shopping cart. Your cart is already on file with Amazon. Anything you pick up, it's automatically charged to your cart. All right. That technology already exists. All right. First movers, Robomart has pioneered this approach, developing a shoppable vehicle that will eventually operate autonomously. The company partners with retailers to offer branded markets on wheels. Here's an example. This is a company that's already rolling. Robomart, it's already up and operational as far as a store that comes to you, and then you just do your grocery shopping from the curb. All right. So this is something I can see. Autonomous vehicles have already been approved. Obviously, it's companies already running autonomous vehicles. So this is something that I can see Amazon doing. I definitely can see Walmart doing it. And they'll just add this to the fold. Most recently, Robomart partnered with Unilever to roll out an autonomous ice cream delivery truck. The truck provides treats from Unilever's The Ice Cream Shop virtual storefront, which allows customers to access Unilever ice cream products using delivery apps like DoorDash and Uber Eats. Let's talk about the implications. Because the vehicle contains all the items in the shop, it doesn't have a travel back and forth between consumer homes and a restaurant store to deliver goods, enabling higher delivery volumes. Robomart in particular cites that it can help retailers increase deliveries by up to 500. So basically what it's saying is, like how how like Domino's has the autonomous pizza delivery in some markets where someone at the Domino's will put a pizza in, it'll go deliver that pizza. You go, when it pulls up to your house, you go out, you put a code in, open the door, the window let down, you take your pizza out. That vehicle goes back to Domino's to get the next delivery. In this situation, um, it's a store, so they're gonna have plenty of items. You pick what you have, and it's just gonna go to the next customer. Obviously, there's AI in here to know that when a shelf is out of stock, but this thing isn't going to one customer, going back to a facility uh, to put a next order. They're stocking this thing, so it can go to multiple stops, and this is going to obviously reduce labor. It's going to reduce fuel consumption. It's just going to save a bunch of money for the final mile. All right. Store Helen improves the customer experience by bringing the shopping experience to the consumer's door, reducing friction involved with building a cart and checking out online. All right. So it's getting rid of the whole Amazon, pick all your groceries, go to the checkout and all that stuff. You're getting rid of all that. You're just hailing a van or a truck to your home and you're doing your grocery shopping from your front yard. Similar to autonomous delivery, robotic stores on wheels face a complex regulatory environment, which will likely make the tech challenging to scale. I can see this before I see the the uh the um uh the this en route manufacturing. This technology right here, it's very complex. But I mean I can see this because we already have autonomous vehicles, and to stock an autonomous vehicle with merchandise, I don't really see what the big deal is, because we already have autonomous vehicles already rolling, doing ride share with humans. So goods can be replaced. So I don't really see this being a big deal as far as going through regulatory challenges. I can actually see this being pushed through. All right, delivery lockers and storage system. This is something that already exists. Um, you may see independent companies building these things out, getting contracts with buildings and things of that nature, gas stations, parking lots, paying rent spaces. So this is a good idea to an entrepreneur out there. If you build out one of these lockers and then you get contracts or you get accounts with different retailers where you can have independent uh, contractors. And this is something that can be done in person vehicles delivered from fulfillment centers to lockers. This will drastically reduce the final amount cost too. And it's actually a good idea. You really don't see any third party people building these, not in America. I know overseas they're doing it. The only company I really see taking advantage of this is Amazon, but they're doing it for their own products and their own sellers. All right, so let's get into this real quick. To keep costs low while meeting consumer expectations for faster delivery lockers and storage systems and alternative delivery solutions more broadly will likely emerge as more viable solutions in denser cities. What are delivery lockers and storage systems? Delivery lockers and storage systems allow retailers and brands to deliver a consolidated set of orders at a commercial location rather than an individual order to each customer's home, reducing the complexities and costs associated with home delivery. Storage system also improve delivery security by requiring a PIN number, QR, or token to unlock rather than leaving the package on someone's front doorstep to steal. All right, you guys know this. We all know Amazon has these lockers. We see them all over the place. So I'm really not going to get into this. I think you guys kind of get the point. So I'm not going to drag the delivery lockers out. This is a company, Instabox, that's overseas. It's kind of like what I'm talking about, like an independent company that deals with companies where they have people deliver the stuff to the box. In the US, Amazon has built out a network of thousands of lockers in over 900 cities. We know that. All right, so we know about the lockers. Alternative delivery solutions, including lockers and storage systems, will allow logistics providers to place multiple packages in a single location rather than deal with the complexities of delivering to individual homes and apartments. Consolidating deliveries will reduce fuel usage and congestion, which will help lower the cost of goods for end consumers. All right. Trade-offs could include compromise on convenience. Most people are used to the convenience of at-home delivery, and many may resist having to leave their homes to pick up. So, most of the people who utilize the locker system are people who live in, let's say, areas where they don't want packages on their front door due to theft, things of that nature. So they utilize those lockers. In those situations, people really don't care about going to the lockers because obviously, like I said, they live in places where they don't feel comfortable with Amazon or UPS or whoever else delivering stuff to their home, leaving their stuff on the porch, because you see a lot of porch piracy going on. That's what it's called. That's the term for it. It's called porch piracy. Actually, I think a couple companies are working to push this, or I think I read an article. Did it get They're trying to push that the penalties if you get caught for stealing off someone's porch is like really, really severe. It's called porch piracy. But those are the people who pretty much use these lockers, unless you're living in a high-rise building where they have lockers in the mailroom, or if they don't have a mailroom, they have a locker system. All right. But I see these lockers at gas stations. I see them in public places, things of that nature. And those people use those for that. So this technology already exists. You just may see more of it. It does reduce the cost of final mile because a carrier, you can reduce a bunch of deliveries. You can just have one carrier take a bunch of packages to lockers, right, and drop them off, and then have those consumers come pick their packages up. And then it also saves money in reverse logistics as well, because companies lose a lot of money in reverse logistics. Reverse logistics is returns. You order something on Amazon, you take it to UPS. You print out the sticker online. You go to UPS. No, you don't print out the sticker online. You go into the Amazon app. You say you want to return. They give you a date to return by. You pick a UPS facility close by. You take it to the UPS. They scan the code. They print the label. You give them the package. You don't pay for it. All right. UPS is not doing that for free. Somebody's paying for it, but it's free to you. So reverse logistics costs a lot of money. So if they can have lockers where people can drop off returns, and then let's say an Amazon DSP person can just pick up a bunch of stuff, one person picking up a bunch of stuff instead of dealing with UPS and paying UPS, then it'll drastically reduce the cost. So you may see these lockers coming up more on private companies building these lockers and trying to get accounts with other retailers, and then trying to push people to drop their packages off there to kind of reduce the cost. And then even with the whole final mile with reverse logistics and just the whole delivery process of final mile, like once these things get implemented, like if a lot of these things go into play, like the cost is going to get passed to the consumer. I know a lot of these companies say free delivery and things of that nature, but trust me, nothing is free. The cost is built in. Free is just a marketing tool. So if companies can reduce this 50% cost maybe down to 20% or 25%, those savings will go along to the customers, and you'll see the price of goods coming down as well. All right, digital twins. Now, this is something that is, to me, is like a waste of money, but this is something that companies are looking into. I'm going to try to explain it to the best of my ability, but this is really, 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 really new technology. Um, Not a lot of information on it. And it's really, 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 really new. But let's get into it real quick. So digital twins optimize the flow of resources across the supply chain. Logistics focused digital twins will enable more powerful modeling and simulation tools. These could be used to improve supply chain planning and vehicle routing, ultimately driving efficiencies in the last mile delivery. What are digital twins? Digital twins are virtual simulation of real world physical objects and systems. These digital representations can help accurately model potential scenarios, which makes them valuable tools for efficient planning. Though the technology still has relatively low adoption in logistics, the shift to cloud-based platforms and adoption of automation across the supply chain have laid a foundation for digital twins to be used to predict trends, optimize inventory, identify process improvements, all of which impact the future of last mile execution. So basically, this is a simulation of real life events. So let's say Amazon wants to reduce costs. So they're going to spend millions, or in this case, billions of dollars to build simulation, to create real life scenarios, to come up with solutions so that they can pass that on to actual the real world and kind of help reduce costs. this is something that I really, I think, if companies just have money at their disposal to do stuff like this, then God bless them. I don't know if this will ever go into fruition, but to build whole virtual real world cities, and to do things like for delivery applications in particular, a digital twin of an entire fulfillment network. Example: highways, streets, homes, and workplaces could provide the customer location, demand pattern, and travel time data required to inform route planning and the establishment of inventory storage locations. So they're building simulation from the whole fulfillment process all the way to it getting dropped off at a person's doorstep. All right. So, I don't know. For digital twins for the logistics space remain in the very early testing and development stages. A very small handful of companies are beginning to integrate digital twin capabilities into their broader offerings. Supply chain orchestration platform Tata Now is offering a digital twin enabled production control tower that helps improve visibility with a factory or a set of factories, coordinate operations, and improve productivity. This is something, like they said, it's still very, very new. It's just basically creating a whole simulation from the fulfillment on down to the final mile delivery. And it's just creating scenarios, let's say like traffic scenarios, and then figuring out in simulation how to prevent them, what to do if the driver gets into it, or if the automated vehicle gets into it, what to do in those scenarios, roadblocks, things of that nature. So it's basically just real life simulation. I'm not really going to go into that. Uh, Looking ahead in 2030, last mile delivery solutions will leverage new advancements in AI, robotics, and digital twin technology to reduce costs and improve delivery speed. So this is just something, simulation to reduce costs for um, customers like your Amazons, your Walmart. I really don't see too many companies investing into this because it'll be billions of dollars to do. But Amazon may throw money because they just got money at their disposal, and so does Walmart. All right, so man, that right there, I know it's a lot to think about, especially that en route manufacturing. If that comes into fruition, I think that is going to be a game changer. That's going to cut down, that what it's going to do is going to reduce the whole fulfillment process, and it's going to cut it down tremendously in time. You know, um, I know a big question, since I talked about how uh, last mile delivery is really expensive. So you guys want to know uh, why is last mile delivery so expensive? Why does it account for 50% or more of the supply chain process? All right, I'm gonna give you four major reasons. One is failed deliveries. All right, everybody shops on Amazon. Everybody knows that Amazon's whole purpose is customer satisfaction. You don't care about nothing else. Jeff Bezos said it. I know I said I was going to go back and pull up that interview he did with CNBC, where he said, man, his whole business model is consumer satisfaction. He don't care about nothing else. I'm pretty sure it's plenty of you guys out there that had a late delivery with Amazon, and Amazon said, just keep that item. No, we're going to send you another item out. If the original one comes, you can keep both of them. Don't worry about it. That's a lot of money lost. All right. Amazon is strict on time delivery. All right. So failed deliveries cost companies a lot of money, because guess what? If a guy goes out, they miss the delivery window for whatever reason, and the customer refuses it, whether it's a big item or let's say a small item, because Amazon is real particular, they're going to give you another item for free. They're going to give you that one, and then they're going to ship out another one and give you for free. All right. So that costs the companies a lot of money. Obviously, fuel costs companies a lot of money. They're going to tackle fuel costs by getting electric vehicles. Um, and when you're running in an autonomous vehicle, it doesn't make human error. All right. An autonomous vehicle is something that's a robot. It's a computer. Computers can crash and make mistakes of that thing, things of that nature. But that human error aspect is not there. So whereas a human may miss his turn, autonomous vehicle is not going to miss their turn. Autonomous vehicle isn't texting their girl or their husband or their wife on the phone, fiddling with the radio, doing whatever people do, because we're all guilty of it, to get distracted and we all miss our turns. I'm just using it as example. An autonomous vehicle is going to be precise. It's going to be precise. So cutting down on fuel costs, things of that nature. If an autonomous vehicle is just not going to make the mistakes that bring MPG up, and 10 times out of 10, an autonomous vehicle is going to be electric. All right. Idling and downtime kind of goes back into what I'm talking here. Idling, traffic, you're getting cutting that out. That fuel consumption from idling, sitting in traffic. All right, getting cut out with electric vehicles. Downtime, all that's getting cut out. All of that's getting cut out. Guys got to take lunch. Got to give a guy a 30-minute lunch. You don't have to give an autonomous vehicle or a robot a 30-minute lunch. They're not under the same labor laws as a human being. So you're cutting time down. You're able to get more done because of the laws. 2:15, guy works 8-10 hours. You got to give him 2 15 minutes and an hour break. The laws are different in different states. Here, you got to give a person 2 15 minutes and an hour. You can give them a full hour. You can break that hour down to 2 30 minutes, but they got to get a whole 60 minutes, and then they got to get 2 15-minute breaks if you're working in an 8-hour shift. All right. A robot and a autonomous vehicle don't got to do all that. So that hour and 30 minutes that a human is out doing delivery of downtime, right? An autonomous vehicle, that's how many deliveries you can get done in an hour and 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? That's more productivity. Outer route miles goes back to people getting lost. People don't follow directions. The GPS is right in front of you, but still people miss the turn. They're paying attention to the radio. They're getting lost. They're doing all type of goofy stuff that costs companies money. I see it. You know what I'm saying? I see it. That's why I pay for Fleetmatics. All right, to pay attention to all this stuff, to see where I can cut down on fuel. These like Fleetmatics and other companies that you can buy, they have real detailed reports, and you can look at those reports. Like reports are like the idle time, hard brake, and all this stuff. So if you look at some of these Amazon vans, you see these vans is raggedy as hell. These dudes is crushing, they punching the gas, slamming the brake. All this is bad for MPG. All this is bad. Autonomous vehicles, electric vehicles, going to get rid of all that. And then obviously one of the biggest things that keep final mile cost up really, really high is labor. Once you get rid of labor, then that game over. You know what I'm saying? You cut cost is going to get cut. Cost is going to get cut tremendously. So those are actually 5 things, not 4, that will bring down a final mile delivery. And then once you implement everything that we talked about, a few minutes ago, with like the en route production, the robo stores, the lockers, the robots, the UAV, the drones, things of that nature, then it is what it is. Cost is going to get cut tremendously. So that's pretty much it. That's my presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and do this Q&A real quick. I saw a bunch of questions come through. I don't know if they were questions. I don't know if they were comments, but we're going to take a look at them real quick. I'm going to start at the top. Shout out to everybody that checked in. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that like button. Let me know where you're checking in from. If you came in, let me know where you were checking in from. How do I become a member? Just go to the channel and hit join, and then you just pick a package. Go to the channel and hit join, and then just pick a package. What's up? Brushing, been watching, had to take the Lost, but I've been Spark, Walmart, and other apps with car, a pickup truck, 150 to 200 a day. I done took a L before reset time. Keep it funky. What's up, Brushing? I think you meant brother. So basically, you said you've been watching, had to take the loss. So I'm assuming you gave your truck back and you're just doing gig work, if that's what you're saying, because I see spell check then kind of took over whatever you was trying to say. There's nothing wrong with doing a reset. It happens. As long as you have a plan, if you decide to re-enter another go around, just learn from the mistakes here And I think the biggest lesson that people who are exiting now is that one, you know what I'm saying, do a lot more due diligence. Two, the economy plays a major um part into trucking. And I know, and you know, I know lately the conversation has been about the whole fake group. So the thing what happens is when people start failing at something and people start losing money, and people point fingers. And I know the whole scamming thing has been the big talk, or as far as in the box truck community. As of recently, we had a long conversation, me and Kirk, Sunday night on my live Sunday night about it, and a lot of people are upset. You know what I'm saying? But you got to do your due diligence. And now people, I think, that are exiting the industry know that there's a lot more to the industry than what the people they invested their time in was teaching. If you're investing your time into somebody who's just telling you, man, it's a lot of money in trucking, let me show you how, then, you know, it's more to it. I've been talking about the economical side of trucking since my inception on YouTube. And I got ridiculed for it until everything I started was talking about then has all fallen into place. These are the type of people you want to talk about, who's going to tell you the good, the bad, and is going to tell you what's to come so that you can be prepared for it. A good mentor, a good coach is going to prepare you for what's to come. You know what I'm saying? I could tell you, yeah, you're going to make a lot of money. But then again, if a lot of money can't be made in the time that's coming up, then I'm going to tell you what you need to prepare for. Because, man, we're going to have an economic downturn. So I think the lesson, like I said, is a lot of people know who you're paying, know who you're watching, know who you're getting value from. Pay attention to the economy, you know, and do a lot of research. Like one of my subscribers said earlier, look, I don't have the time to do the research. That's why I watch your content. All right. If you're one of those people, then you have to really make sure you're watching someone that knows what the hell they're talking about. All right. And you have to be able to take constructive criticism. You know, if everything sounds good, in business, not everything is going to be good, peachy and cream. Somebody's telling you it's going to be a straight uh arrow going up and to the right, like how we wish and dream every day in the stock market is. That's just not true. That's just not true. You know what I'm saying? If you own a restaurant, man, the joint may catch on fire, your roof may collapse. Anything can happen in any single business, and you have to be prepared for it. A lot of restaurants went out of business due to the pandemic. Economic challenges can really be detrimental to a person's business, no matter what industry they're in. And the reason a lot of people don't talk about this is because they don't have, not that they don't have business experience, or maybe they don't have business experience, but it's hard to teach somebody something that has only been in the game just as long as you have been. They don't have the tenure, they don't have the experience, they don't have the real life scenarios of going through these things to be able to advise and teach you these things. And I think that was one of the main things that got a lot of people into trouble. And it is what it is. So, man, you're going back into it the next go around, you'll just have a lot more knowledge. And I'm 100% sure that if you enter back in again, Benny, you're gonna 100% win the next time around. So don't give up. You know, just take it as a learning lesson. Keep doing the gig acts, keep stacking that bread. Start out small, start out grassroots. You don't have to jump in with a 26-footer. You can scale from your car to a cargo van, run it up with a cargo van. Because just like what I've been saying, the cargo van game is where the money is right now. Final mile is where the volume is. Final mile parcel is where the volume is where the money is, and the volume. There's money in final mile heavy bulk, appliance and furniture, but the money right now, if you wanted to deliver anything, is in final mile parcel, all right, and final mile grocery delivery. That's where the volume and that's where the bag is. And those are the people who are checking a bag this peak season. I said it. It was going to be gig people, not middle mile. Not middle mile. And we see that. So hit the like button, guys. Let me know, drop some questions. What's your guesstimate on how long this on-demand run will last with Roadie Fanatics also before IPO? Man, I don't think they're going to IPO for some years, man. For some years. You know, right now right now you can run up a bag because it's the holiday season. Here's something that I saw earlier. Hold on, let me show this. As I see things, I'll just screenshot them in my market. Every market is not going to be the same, guys. So let me see. Is this from no? think I got one here. Oh, let me upload it real quick. Give me a second, y'all. Let me upload it into this, and I'm gonna show you one from today. What is this? 2849. 2849. 2849. Let me pull it. 2849. 2849. Where is it at? 2849. Here it is. Let me upload this real quick. Not this one, but here's one from today. All right, this wasn't a Fanatics. This is a typical food delivery. All right, 9-item food delivery, 3 miles, $57 on Roadie. Like, I can't make this up. So when I be telling people what it is, I'm just gonna start screenshotting this stuff and show it. But for and that's a 3-mile delivery of food, canned goods or whatever else, $57. All right. So the whole thing with Fanatics, I think they still have a bunch more series rounds to go for venture capitalist funding. I don't see them IPOing. I could be wrong, I could be wrong, but I don't see it anytime soon. You know what I'm saying? But get it while the getting is good. Right now, they spending a bag of money on deliveries. They spending a bag, and obviously they like the rates that they're giving on Roadie are ridiculous. 75 miles, $500 to deliver t-shirts in your car. Come on, man. You got people that are in a 26-foot box truck that's happy that they getting $500 to go do Amazon delivery. They driving 100 miles in a 26-foot box truck, where they got to pay for diesel and all that stuff, load the truck, all this pallet jack and stuff like that. I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with that. No, there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm also showing the other side of it's other money out here you can get too. So for everybody that's exiting, and a lot of people that are telling me they're waiting to get in and they're trying to build up their money, well, while you're building up your money to get a box truck, you're missing these opportunities. You're missing these opportunities. And while you're doing these opportunities in your car or your cargo van, you're learning the industry. You're going to see the challenges that you're going to meet when you get out there in a 26-foot box truck. You're going to see them with your car. And then you'll learn how to maneuver through these challenges at a lower cost because you're in your car. Because some of these challenges that you meet in your car, your cargo van, some of these same challenges you can meet in a 26-foot box truck. So Memphis in the building. Let's see here. I don't have the join button. I think you got to go to the main page. Hold on. Let's see, man. Let me see. I'm going to pull my join up real quick. Let's see. So you're going to go here. You're going to go to channel. All right. I'm going to screenshot it or screen share it. My bad. So when you go to my channel, it'll be where it says join right here. Just hit the join and then that'll pop up. And that's how you do it. Don't have to watch the whole thing, but the Prime Video series, The Peripheral, shows how this may work. I gotta check that out. Think I'm going to have to invest in a drone. Might be not so bad of investment. Was we not talking just last week about how drones were introduced but did not seem to be a good fit? The drone, so here's the thing. Amazon has been building drones, right? And then they've been pulling back on their drones. All right. They've been testing drones, but then they've also pulled back. All right. UPS, same thing. All right. So I think at this point, they don't have the technology there. The technology isn't there. All right. Now, that doesn't mean that in the future that they're not going to utilize drones. But I also said there still has to be some type of regulation. There's going to have to be some type of regulation. And if they get this regulation, and if these guys figure out who's going to deal with these communal launching pads and landing strips and all the variables that are going to go into make this happen and come into fruition, then I mean, anything is possible. Like I said earlier, a lot of this stuff may come into fruition. Some of it may not come into fruition. Some of it may come into fruition sooner than later. Some of this stuff may come into fruition later than sooner. Some of this stuff may not happen at all. But these are just things, to look forward to. What up, Mark? Thanks for the info. This Andre, low end or no end, all the way to 87th Street. Keep up the good work. Appreciate it, man. Low end or no end. 87th Street, my stomping grounds, man. Stony Island, man. En route manufacturing would take a huge amount of market share from the manufacturing sector. Will manufacturers jump on this to save or try to fight back? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? This is something that, is new to me. I've done research on it, obviously, for to talk about tonight. But that's something that, even in this, it says it's going to take a lot of resources and a lot of capital to make this happen. You got to build out these vehicles. I'm just curious how these vehicles would look, because you're sourcing the materials, you're doing the manufacturing, you're doing the 3D printing, and in some instances, you're also doing the final mile delivery. And if so, a UAV can fly to the thing, pick up an item, take it on the porch, or a robot can come, open the door, take out the item, and then the robot can set it on the porch, or another vehicle could come out and you can transfer stuff that has been mass produced already on this vehicle and transfer it to another autonomous vehicle that's going to focus specifically on the final mile. I know one thing, it definitely would take a huge amount of market share out of manufacturing sector. Of course, I'm pretty sure they'll fight it, but if a big company like Amazon or something, invest into this, man, ain't nothing they're gonna be able to do. If it comes, it comes. But that's the whole point of talking about this tonight, man. Technology will F somebody up if you're not doing your due diligence and looking into R&D and being prepared. If you're just going on willy-nilly, doing your loads, doing your final mile, running your 2-3 vans, or running your 2-3 box trucks, or your one box truck, and you've been doing this day in, day out, year in, year out, you know what I'm saying? You're not paying attention to what goes on. You say, I'm going to do this another 15 years and I'm just going to retire. You may not have another 15 years to do it. I don't know. Some of this stuff may not come into fruition. The whole point of this doing this live is so that, you can stay abreast of this stuff, because there's a lot of people that have been in business over the past, I don't know how many years since businesses have been existing, that technology has changed the landscape of specific industries and put companies out of business. It happens all the time. So this is very important for people who are looking into invest into this industry at this critical point, right? And have the hopes of possibly scaling, because you can build a business and you might only have a 5 or 6, 7 year tenure, if that. 2010 is when I entered. All right, it's 2022, and the industry has changed so much since when I started. When I started, Amazon was going through third parties. They weren't even doing the white delivery vans when I applied for the DSP program back in 2014. In 2010, they was just still going through FedEx and UPS. They started that program, I believe, in 2013, 2014. All right. Maybe 2012, 2013, somewhere around there. All right. When I applied, and this was the old DSP program, before the new DSP program they have now, where they're leasing the people the vehicles and doing all that stuff. All right. So look how their final mile process has evolved. They went from using third parties, using post office, using FedEx, using UPS, to building out their own final mile logistics system, to now what you have with Relay, Flex, DSP, and the whole 9 yards. And this is within their own infrastructure, within their own network. All right. And there's the e-commerce industry has boomed so much, that technology has had to keep up with it. And then you got Amazon that set the standard on 2-day delivery. All right. They set that standard. Prior to them introducing 2-day delivery, people were just happy if they got their stuff in a week. Then Amazon came with the 2-day delivery. All right. And then now you got the next day delivery. Then you had the same day delivery. Now you got companies competing to try to get stuff to you within the hour. And you got some companies talking about trying to get it to you within the first 15 minutes. And that's what these companies are building out to get it, the turnover, quicker and quicker and quicker, because ultimately that depends their whole the consumer's dollar, who they're going to spend that dollar with. The decision on that solely is on who can provide the quickest turnaround. So yeah, I think it'll be it's going to put an ugly dent in the manufacturing sector. So the manufacturing sector is going to have to get to work. They're going to have to spend a lot of money, millions of dollars in consulting with people who are knowledgeable on this. They're going to have to spend millions of dollars in consulting, millions of dollars in R&D, and they're going to have to, if this is something that does go into fruition, they're going to have to learn this technology, and they're going to have to get with it or get gone. And that's just the way business is. It is what it is. I think it's different when you have an iPhone. Y'all talking about something else. Yeah, I can definitely see this coming. Which one are you talking about? The en route manufacturing? I can see health concerns arising for some items, but for prepackaged household goods, it is a game changer. Definitely a game changer, man. Definitely a game changer. Ace Lux Transport, KU Texas checking in. Alton Hooker, what's going on, man? Thank you for checking in. All that to deliver my iPhone case, isn't that going to run up the price of the product or shipping costs? No, it's going to drive the price down. It's going to drive the price down. See, when companies spend this type of money to invest in this type of technology over a length of time, it's going to reduce costs. It's going to reduce fuel costs. It's going to reduce labor costs. The turnaround time is quick. These companies are in a race to get consumers their good like that. We are a lazy society now. All right. We're very lazy. Technology has made humans lazy. We're lazy. We're lazy. We're lazy. We don't even want to go pick our own apples and oranges. I don't do grocery delivery. I'm old school, and the only time I've ever done like Amazon Fresh or Whole Foods Fresh or whatever it's called, whatever the grocery thing with Amazon is, when I was sick around last Christmas and COVID was big and I couldn't leave out the crib. All right. So I needed some soup and some other things. So I did it in that aspect. I like to go to the grocery store and pick my own bananas, pick my own apples, pick my own oranges. But Generation Z, and shout out to Generation Z, you know what I'm saying? And some older generations, millennials, Generation X, some of us older people, we kind of lazy. All right. So no, the cost gonna go down. We're lazy individuals, so this is gonna make us become even more lazier, and then it's gonna drive costs down because we're getting rid of the human element, right? We're saving on fuel. What they're saving on fuel, you're getting rid of the human element. You're able to increase productivity because you're able to get more packages out. Because you're decreasing the human element, there's no breaks, 15 minutes, hour breaks. So you got like with these autonomous delivery robots and UAVs and vehicles, these things can operate 24 hours a day. There's no labor law that prevents a robot from working. It's a robot. So you increase productivity, you decrease cost. Yeah, it's not going to cost more, it's going to cost less. Digital twin sounds like war games where a situation is simulated, analyzed, and studied to explore all possible outcomes and solutions for these outcomes. It just automates. It's crazy. Yeah, that whole digital twins thing, like it said there, it's still very new. That simulation, like why a company, and I'm saying this, I'm not a billion-trillion-dollar guy. So what sounds crazy to me may not sound crazy to some of these companies. Like it says, and like I've always said, these companies are in competition. This is a very competitive, e-commerce is very competitive. It's very competitive. And people want their things like that. That 2-day turnaround is too long. Next day is too long. These companies are in competition to see who can get product to consumers the quickest, because that is who the consumer is going to spend their dollar with. All right. So whatever these companies got to do and got to spend and on technology to figure out scenarios, basically what digital twins is, it's like a cheat code to do real life simulation to figure out scenarios so that they can increase real time delivery in real time in the real world. So they're willing to invest billions of dollars to simulate things, to come up with solutions to reduce time in real life situations so they can get stuff to the consumer quicker so they can ultimately get that sale, because that ultimately who's the customer is going to go with, who can get them whatever they want the quickest. So to me, it don't make sense, you know what I'm saying? But I don't have $1 trillion at my disposal like some of these companies do to spend this type of money, or billions of dollars to spend this type of money to be in competition with the next person to win that customer sale. Jeff Bezos don't own Amazon no more. Jeff Bezos owns the largest share of Amazon. He's the largest shareholder. I think you mean he's not the CEO anymore, but he's still chairman of the board. He's still the largest shareholder. So I have to disagree with you, sir. King Fletch. He's the largest shareholder. He's still the chairman of the board. He's just not the CEO. Just because he's not the CEO doesn't mean he, doesn't make decisions. He just not in that role of decision making anymore, but he's still chairman of the board. He still has the most shares, so that would make him the largest shareholder, which would make him the largest owner. So I disagree with you. Hit the like button, guys. Hit the like button. Appreciate everybody for checking in tonight. Wouldn't these new inventions and ideas cause gig apps some concern? In some aspects, yeah. They're going to cause gig apps some concerns. They're going to cause final mile carriers some concern. They're going to cause middle mile some concerns, because if you have, they're going to cause final mile some concern. If you have en route manufacturing, the item is being produced en route, so there's no need for warehousing. There's no need for middle mile. You're not picking it up, taking it to a warehouse, and then someone's picking up final mile in it. It's being the material's being sourced, it's being produced, and it's running the final mile delivery all within one vehicle. So I mean, shit, it's gonna put a damper on manufacturing and warehousing. It's gonna put a damper on middle mile. It's gonna put a damper on final mile, and it's gonna put a damper, on the gig economy. But ultimately, these companies, listen, this is business. Companies are gonna use people until they don't have to use you. All these companies want to do, and I'm talking about every company, they want to find ways to increase their profit. All right. They're going to use you up until they don't have to use you no more. That's the thing. It's always been in the making. All this stuff has always been in the making. You know what I'm saying? All of this has always been in the making. All right. So, to have a en route manufacturing, and this is just a design for a patent. I don't know which company, or I don't know. This might not be one of the patented designs, but to have a 3D printer. 3D printing was big 2 years ago. A lot of those 3D printing companies, a lot of people got rich off 3D printing company stocks in 2020 when Trump infused the stock market. Shout out to Kathy Woods. If this were to come into fruition, this is going to mess up a lot of people's money. Everything is being done in the vehicle. And then you got a multitude of these vehicles out producing product and delivering product. You're getting rid of 3 or 4 different lanes: manufacturing, warehousing, final mile, middle mile, and gig guys. So yeah, it's definitely going to bring some concerns to a few different industries. Chi-Town in the building. Thank you for checking in, Mr. Jason Rowland. Thank you. I'm basically on a waiting list for Rody. Rody got a waiting list now? I've been telling people to sign up. I said, sign up. Sign up for as many apps as you can. I've been telling people for months. I said, I know you know because you here all the time. Me and you talk on the DM. Hey, where you at? You in Cleveland though, right? Maybe it's different in Cleveland. Cleveland is not that big of a market. So as long as you signed up, just it really depends on the market. Gives apps in certain markets are more active. Hopefully, they gain momentum and grow in the smaller markets, kind of like Uber, right? So, like he's saying, if you're in a smaller market, UPS, because UPS owns Rody, they got to sign up with more companies. Obviously, I'm pretty sure in your market in Ohio, you got the big boys like your Best Buy, your Walmart, your Home Depot. But if those Walmarts, those Home Depots, those Best Buys don't have the volume like a larger market, then those are your big opportunities. Here you got Home Depot, you got all those big boys, but then you got the medical pharmaceutical companies that sign up. You got the airports. You might need the airports. There's more traffic coming into our airports than probably your airport for like the luggage delivery. You got all these flower deliveries. You got the grocery deliveries. So like he says, it's market. UPS just has to sign up more smaller companies to increase, more opportunities in your market because everybody's chasing those big opportunities with your Walmart, your Best Buy, and your Home Depot. I haven't seen Fanatics on Rody yet in Philly. I'm waiting for it to drop though, and that's crazy because your boy who owns it is out there in Philly. Who owns the 76ers, Mike Rubin. Yeah, Fanatics is big here though. I'm surprised it's really not big like that on Rody since Mike Rubin is out there. Is it profitable for cargo van fleet owner to hire ICCs, pay them good, and pay the van notes and insurance? If so, can you do a quick breakdown? You're in Chicago, right? So if you're running a fleet of vans, depending on what you're doing, you can make money, but the margin is going to be small. All right. So let's say if you did T-Force, right, out in Addison, they got Office Depot. They're going to run you on a per piece count. You need to make sure that and that's what makes it tricky. When I was running for them, I had a guarantee. All right. So if you're running on a per piece count, that's tricky because the pieces are going to fluctuate every single day. Some days you're going to have pieces, some days you're not going to have pieces. You need to have 150 pieces or more, at least let's say on the low end 100 to 200 pieces to really make some money, some decent money. Your margin going to be small. So let's say if you got a good route, you're averaging let's say 100 to 150 pieces depending on what they're paying for the piece count. You're lucky in a van if you see somewhere between, you want to see somewhere between, on the low end, $50 to $100 in profit net a day. That's after your labor, your fixed cost, and your variable cost. All right. So I was able to operate that contract and make $100 a day off each vehicle. All right. But that's because I had a guarantee. So, when you're running per piece, some days you're going to win, some days you're going to lose, some days you're going to break even because those pieces fluctuate. Other than that, opportunities for vans, your margin is very small. So it's risky. You have to test different accounts out. And when you're testing these accounts out, you got to see what the opportunity is there. You got to test it out, see what you're making before you scale up. Because these vans account, the margins are very small. They're way smaller than trucks. They're way smaller than trucks. And what I can tell you is, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with you. These logistics companies are getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter, tighter and tighter. They're getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. All right. So scaling a cargo van right now without a guarantee is going to be very risky, man, because a lot of these companies are going to pay you per piece. So you're here, I can point you in the right direction. You're going to have to go out to T-Force and Addison, and you're going to have to run that. Now, what you can do is you can supplement that. And now with gigs, you can supplement, or you can go to veterans distribution. You can go to veterans distribution out in Hillside. Now, they're going to give you a lot of work because they got staples, they got liquor contracts, They got cabinet contracts. They got a bunch of stuff, but their pay scale is going to be on the shorter side. They some strict SOBs at veterans, but they have a lot of work. So with them, you're not stuck on just one thing. They'll make sure you have a full route to make sure you make some money. So you may have a few staple stops, you may have a few cabinet stops, you may have a few liquor stops. Then they got nonstop delivery. So you may have a few returns for like HD. You may have some Home Depot drop off, some Home Depot pickup. So they'll make it worth your while, but they really don't pay a lot per stop. So you got to maximize your stops, and you really got to jam pack those vans to get the most stops for your drivers, so that after you pay all your costs, you're gonna see something for a van. If you're making anywhere from $50 to $100 a day off each van, then you're winning. So check out Veterans Distribution. Look into them in Hillside, Illinois. No 10 hours in a sleeper, no 34-hour reset. Yep. So what he's referring to is like cost cutting for some of these companies. Like, once you reduce the human element, whether it's OTR with a CDL, final mile, middle mile, once you reduce the human element, a delivery vehicle, an autonomous delivery vehicle, a robot, a UAV, they're working 24 hours. All right. Ultimately, you already see Amazon doing 4 a.m. deliveries, next day deliveries as early as 4 a.m. All right. Eventually, sooner than later, this is something I'm going to say is going to happen sooner than later. You're going to see 24-hour delivery. You're going to see 1 in the morning delivery, 2 in the morning delivery. If some companies aren't already doing that, you're going to see that. It's coming sooner than later. And that's on the human element side. I mean, 4 a.m. is the earliest you can get an Amazon delivery here in this market. The latest you can get an Amazon delivery is 11, 12. So screw the other 4 hours. You might as well just have it 24 hours at this point, right? So AI autonomous vehicles about to take your jobs. I don't think it's going to happen that soon, but you got the autonomous vehicles already running for some companies. Domino's is running them. A few other companies are running autonomous vehicles. So that technology is already here. It's been regulated. The regulation has been approved. You're going to see that. Some of the other stuff we talked about, I don't know. That whole en route manufacturing, we had a consultation Friday, and I forgot to ask you about insurance. I Progressive. Am I able to change companies in the middle of the policy? Get with your broker. Get with your broker. Get a broker. I think I told you to get out of Progressive the first consultation we had back in August. Get with a broker, man. Talk with your broker. You're gonna need a broker, man. It's best that you probably just fulfill your obligation with Progressive to the end, and then when it's time to renew, have your broker start shopping you about 60 days prior to renewal. But get with a broker and see if that's something you can do in the middle of the policy. I've never done that. When I've had to switch, it's always been at the end. So, but get with a broker. You need a broker. You need a broker. Get a broker. There's things that the broker can do that you can't do, and it's best to have a broker because he's going to shop you on the market. He's going to be constantly shopping you. So even when you're up for renewal, if you got a good broker, like I said, he's going to start shopping you 60 days prior to you being up for renewal. He's going to constantly be looking for the best rates for you. So get with your broker and talk with your broker. Yeah, hit the like button, guys. Hit the like buttons. I really appreciate it. Helps the stream get into the algorithm. Thanks for everybody for showing up. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit it as you come in. I really, really would really appreciate it. Yep, they told me we were getting to all the applicants as they come in, aka waiting list. Yeah, as long as you signed up, your market is a smaller market, so just sign up. Sign up to as many apps as you can. Did you see last episode of Truck and Hustle? 2 guys from PA created an app to cut out broker and connect drivers with shippers. Sounds pretty good. No, I didn't see that episode. I'm gonna check it out though. But you know what? RXO, a lot of companies are creating um it's a term called for digital I can't think of it right now, but it's basically cutting out the broker. It's basically cutting out the broker. So like RXO, there's a few other companies that are working towards it right now. I mean, the broker whole thing with the broker, I know a lot of people hate brokers. Middle mile is not my lane, but I don't think, you know, you know, logistics is evolving, obviously, based off what, I talked about, tonight in that presentation. And in that evolution, I don't think the broker is going to be replaced. Like there's companies right now that are working to replace brokers. Brokers and brokers know this. All right. They're doing a money grab right now on you guys as we speak, on a lot of you guys that run middle mile. This is what's called a money grab. All right, money grab. When people know it's coming to an end, so they just get as much money as they can to sail into the sunset. What they're doing is a money grab. Now, I don't know how soon the broker is going to be, removed, but it's coming. It's coming because I know companies are working towards replacing them, and they're in competition. RXO is another big company right now that's really, I can't think of the name of it. I was just reading up on them Friday. But yeah, the broker, you know, eventually the broker is going to be obsolete. Trust me, broker going to be out of here. Jason Rowland, no problem, man. Yep. No, this is the first time I've mentioned it. No, no. I know this is the first time. Okay, so then yeah, so just get with your what you answer. Yeah, so just get with your broker. If you don't have a broker, get with one. You're gonna need one because if you're exiting Progressive, pretty much for all the companies that you're gonna want to be with to save a lot of money, you're gonna need a broker to sign up with them. So if you don't have a broker, get with a broker, and if you do have a broker, consult with your broker as far as transitioning out of Progressive in the middle of a term. Like I said, I've never done it. I've always transitioned out at the end of the term. But either way, get with your broker and consult with your broker on that. No problem. I get my truck tomorrow, bro. 2009 Hino, 308,000 miles, 20K, $225,000. Congratulations, man. Congratulations, man. 2009 Hino. Where are you at? What market are you in? Yeah, they was kind of saying it could be the end of load boards in the future. I think Convoy. There you go. I knew it was a C was on the tip of my tongue. Convoy. Convoy is one of them. It's another one too, but Convoy is one of them. Yeah, Convoy RXO. It's digital something. It's called not digital brokering. It's digital something. It's called, man. Basically, what they're doing is pretty much just replacing the brokers. It's it's app based where carriers, independent owner operators can go on an app and pull loads. You don't have to deal with a broker at all. Sort of like Uber Freight. Uber Freight is one that's in the competition. Convoy, now RXO. RXO is a big one because XPO pretty much has relationships with every single retailer and company imaginable because they're the third largest trucking company in the country. So as far as like big bulk, like palletized curbside final mile delivery stuff, they're number one because UPS, which is number one, FedEx, which is number two, they don't handle those types of deliveries. All right. So even though they're number one and number two, number three, XPO is number one in those larger uh deliveries because one and two, FedEx, UPS, once again, or UPS, FedEx, don't handle those types of deliveries. So yeah, um, Convoy, Uber Freight, RXO. And there's a few more that are all competing for that digital, whatever it's called, where it's pretty much replacing a broker. Owner operators can go on these apps and just pick loads, and you're cutting out the middleman. Everything, artificial intelligence has already set up the price. You know what I'm saying? And if you want it, you want it. If you don't, you don't. You don't have to worry about getting screwed with double brokering and scammed and all that stuff that's going on. Yeah, so it's in the making as we speak now, and brokers are doing their money grab right now. That's why everything that's going on is going on. They know their time is coming to an end. They know it. Seasoned tenured brokers know their time is coming to an end. And that goes further to show you guys, and this is not to scare anybody. I just want everybody, you know, to, just be smart businessmen and businesswomen. Nothing lasts forever. You know, you have to stay ahead and you have to stay abreast on technology. A lot has changed since I've been in this. I always talk about my wins, but I also talk about the things that the challenges that I faced throughout my career and the challenges that I'm facing now. Even in the presentation earlier with the whole thing, they talk about, let me pull it up, you know, hold on. Where is it at? Talk about consumer behavior. Where is it at? Where is it at? Where is it at? Where is it at? Inflation, where the cost of delivery, traction, delivery costs. Where it talked about where did it talk about? Where it talked about labor. Like I always say, that's my issue. A lot of things that have occurred, labor shortages. Was it in here? As delivery costs rise, inflation worsens, a global recession looms, companies help to reduce the cost of fulfillment. Somewhere in here at the beginning it talked about labor. But anyway, everybody faces their challenges. A lot technology has made it um hard for even me. I would have never thought in 100 years, if you would have told me in 2011, yo, Mark, because I had this thinking. I said, man, the more trucks I buy, the more people always need jobs. As long as I got trucks, there's going to be people always that are going to be willing to drive them. If you'd have told me in 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, yo, Mark, there's going to be technology and a big event is going to happen that is going to change the whole dynamic of how people look at earning a living and how people look at working. And it's going to be hard for companies to find work, employment, people to work, right? I would have looked at you like you was crazy. I would have looked at you like you was crazy. You could have told me uh something real crazy, and I probably would have believed that. There's no way I would have believed that um it would be hard for any company to find people to work. I wouldn't have believed it. I wouldn't have believed it. So, I've dealt with my challenges in technology. I remember when Amazon was really making a huge push in the middle 2010s, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2014, right? I watched a lot of companies get pushed out. Some of these companies I had contracts with. I had a company called H.H. Gregg. I was making a shit ton of money with. Amazon pushed them out of business. So because they got pushed out of business, that was a contract I lost. Amazon put them out of business. So you have to stay abreast on this stuff because technology is ever evolving, and you got to kind of stay ahead of the curve, and you have to have a plan. All right, you got to have a plan. So low boards, brokers on their way out. I give brokers. How long do I give brokers? Convoy, Uber Freight, RXO, maybe another 5 years, maybe. And you're gonna see like brokers aren't going to be prevalent, probably like how you see them today. Probably like in another 5 years. Another 5 years, brokers aren't going to be as prevalent as you see them today. C.H. Robinson just laid off a bunch of people. The more people that go to RXO, go to Convoy, go to Uber Freight, and go to all the other ones that are in the building process now, the less people that you're gonna have to, the less human element you're gonna have to deal with as far as a broker. I'm I'm gonna be sliding through there to get some of them loads. I'll be all through that joint. Oh, you in Kenosha? Oh, you right up the way in Wisconsin. Yes, the freight broker's time is over. The dance is slowing down. Yeah, the dance is slowing down, and they're doing a money grab right now. I'm telling you, they're doing a money grab. This is what you can the shit that they're pulling right now. This is classic signs of a money grab. A money grab is when an individual know their time is coming to an end, so they're gonna rob the bank. They're gonna get as much out of it and suck as much out of it as they can because they know it's coming to an end. All right. So brokers are on the money grab right now. And as it gets closer to that time, they're gonna get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And if you're green and you don't know what the hell you're doing when you're dealing with these brokers, they're gonna get you. They're gonna get you. They're gonna get you because their time is coming to an end. Wait until Jerry app starts offering commercial insurance. The one in the middle are going to get cut. Jerry app. I'm going to look that up. Jerry app. RXO tech enabled brokerage platform. Tech enabled. Exactly. Tech enabled. But RXO it's just a sister company to XPO. So it's really XPO. They have all the relationships anyway. So AI is doing the work, but because that human element is not there anymore, you can't get screwed over. The AI is doing all the work. All right. So because the AI is doing all the work, it makes it better for you, the carrier. You know what I'm saying? Makes it better for you in many different facets, uh, especially rate. So I think that's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? The brokers, even though this is not middle mile in my lane, but I know how brokers get down. Brokers general. It don't even have to be logistics brokers, stock brokers, any type of a middleman. It's a middleman. Brokers in all industries. They're all the same. You know what I'm saying? This is how they get paid. But right now their time is coming to an end. So as that time gets closer, this is a fair warning. As they, more and more brokers see that their time is coming to an end, they're gonna get greedier and greedier and greedier. They're gonna get slicker and slicker and slicker. They're gonna get dirtier, dirtier and dirtier. Those ethics that some that even have some type of moral compass or some type of ethics, all that's gonna go out the window. All right. So just be very careful because they're all going to get on this money grab. There's some already on a money grab. And the closer it gets to that time, they're all going to get on that money grab. They're going to try to shake you down and rob the bank on their way out the door because that's how people do in business. Real estate is going to that model as well. Tech enabled. All right, guys, hit that like button. Hit that like button. Any more questions? Any more questions? Any more questions? I appreciate everybody for coming out. How long I've been on? I've been on for 2 hours now. I appreciate everybody for coming out. Checking out this live stream about the future. A lot of information. If you came in late, go ahead and watch that replay. A lot of things are coming up. If some of these things come into fruition, it's going to put a lot of people out of business. It's going to put a lot of people out of work. Ultimately, these companies do want to save money, but outside of the primary focus of saving money, they want to reduce the final mile cost, but they want to shorten that turnaround time to get consumers their good. We're probably going to be looking at 24-hour delivery soon. That delivery window, that delivery time from when you go on an app and purchase something, it's just going to get shorter and shorter and shorter, and that's why they're investing all this money, because ultimately that is how the customer decides on who they want to spend their dollar with. All right, so since there ain't no more questions, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. I appreciate everybody for coming on in. Hit that like button as you exit. I may be back on Thursday if I come up with something cool to talk about. If not, then I'll be back Sunday. Sunday, I'm doing that Sunday I'm doing that live with about Sunday I'm doing a live with Kirk on Track Trucking. So I'll be on earlier Sunday because we're gonna multi-broadcast that show. He's gonna be broadcasting from his channel, we'll be broadcasting from my channel. I think it's gonna be like 4:15 or 5:15, and we're gonna be talking about Amazon. So I'm going on his show. It's his show. He invited me on. I know how it gets when we talk about Amazon. But for people who subscribe to my channel, I don't never talk about strategy with Amazon Relay because I don't do Amazon Relay. So you never hear me talk about strategy. I can't give you strategy. I don't want to give you strategy. I talk about Amazon from a macro, economical, moral standpoint. Anybody knows my channel, know how I feel about Amazon. Do I buy stuff on Amazon? Yeah, I have to. But if there's a way for me not to buy on Amazon, then I don't. You know what I'm saying? But I try to buy things off of not on Amazon before I resort to Amazon. I feel the way I feel about Amazon because that's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? But I never try to give people strategy. I don't shut people down because they do it. That's what they want to do. If people making money from it, then so be it. But I'm if I want to be critique Amazon from a moral standpoint on how they handle things when it comes to my people and things of that nature and how they treat uh um their employees and how they treat contractors, I feel like I have a right to do so. My opinion, you know what I'm saying? I can be opinionated on whatever I want to be opinionated on because I'm an American. And so we're gonna do a show. It's his show. I'm just a guest, and it's going to be about Amazon. He's going to open up the load board. He wants to see what the hoopla is about. I'm going to speak from like the moral, economical perspective. Like I said, I don't do strategy, and that's going to be this Sunday at 4:15 or 5:15. Once he sends me the images, then I'll post it in the community post, and I'll post it on Instagram. I know it's going to be a lot of people there. I know it may get ugly because you know how it gets when we talk about Amazon. I know when he talks about it, he gets it. I know when I talk about it, I get it. So it's going to be one of them shows, but it is what it is. So go ahead and hit that like button as you guys exit out if you didn't hit it. I appreciate everyone for checking in. I don't see any more questions, so I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Everybody have a good night. Peace out.